Welcome to Integrity and Joy. I'm Steve Walker. This is episode 12 of Integrity and Joy, Creating Your Purpose. So welcome to Integrity and Joy. I am Steve Walker, former U.S. diplomat, activist, educator, and now life coach, meditation teacher, and host of this podcast. Thank you for joining. If you're a return listener, thanks for coming back. If you're a first-timer, thanks, and welcome, and I hope you go back and listen to some of the earlier episodes. There are some really great episodes and conversations, and I think they'll be thought-provoking and entertaining and inspirational even. So, and regardless, I hope you follow the podcast if you're not already, and please leave a rating and review. We'd love to get as many 5-star ratings as we can, so that'll help us get the podcast in front of more people who could benefit from it, be inspired themselves. So thank you for that in advance. Today's episode is about finding or creating, really, your purpose. And that distinction between finding your purpose and creating your purpose is an important one. I think we often do ourselves and our kids an injustice by the way that we think and talk about finding a purpose in life, or finding your passion, following your passion. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about that. And I think it's a much healthier and constructive and less intimidating, maybe more realistic way of thinking about it is about creating your purpose, your sense of purpose. And so that's what I want to talk about today. What's the difference and what can get in the way, and then maybe some ideas about how to create a real strong sense of purpose so that you can really have a good life. I think, first off, I think by telling people and suggesting, particularly to kids, that you need to follow your passion. Not everybody's going to have something that they're passionate about their whole adult life, or even part of it, in terms of a career, certainly. I do think, many people, most people, hopefully, are going to have some kind of passion in their life for their relationships, or a hobby, or some kind of interest that they have. Maybe that will coincide with their career, at least for part of the time. But I don't think everybody is going to necessarily have a passion in the sense of like this thing that really drives you, gets you up in the morning, gives you this deep sense of purpose, kind of innately. I do think creating purpose in your life is important. It's a skill more than something you find, I think. There are some people who will, have an innate passion or sense of purpose from when they're young. That does happen, but I think for a lot of people that's not realistic, and that's okay. I think it's about empowering yourself to feel like you have agency to to create a sense of purpose in a variety of ways, potentially, hopefully, that will sustain you through most, if not all, of your life. Right? That's the goal. And I think that should make it accessible to everybody. What does get in the way of doing that? I think first and foremost that there are these messages that we get from parents, from schools, teachers, work culture, once we're adults and out in the workplace, social media, and certain social and behavioral norms that exist that either mislead us into thinking that we've got to have this passion or there's something wrong with us, or make us feel like our purpose in life is to be a cog in the wheel, right? It's to join the rat race, right? To get good grades in school, depending on where you grow up and your family and financial situation and all that, like, going to college or getting into the right college for at least some people, or making a lot of money in some way, shape, or form, prestige, fame, the right title. These are the things that we're often sold to think that's what our purpose should be. And yet those things are often elusive or unfulfilling once we achieve them. And that's not healthy, right? To kind of buy into that. And it's clearly things that are learned, right? This kind of conformist buy into the rat race, become part of the stream, the leaf floating down the river, right? That you don't have agency or control. You're just kind of along with everybody else floating down the river, and the current and the rocks and all that are dictating how fast you move and which direction you go in. But 98% of 5-year-olds test as creative geniuses. Think about that. Like, in some ways, we're born knowing what to do intuitively, how to be creative. And yet school and parents and society kind of like drill that out of us and turn us into cogs in a wheel, right? Often. Not everybody, but often that happens. And instead, I think it's important to validate your own sense of agency in what you say and think and what you actually do, right? To remind yourself and speak as if you can chart your own course. You can create your own sense of purpose. You can define what is meaningful and important to you. And we know there's a lot of research out there about what creates a sense of purpose in life, what gives meaning to life, how do you live a good life. And they are, first and foremost about relationships and valuing and creating healthy relationships. That's number one, by far, right? Most important thing. And, that would be true in terms of personal relationships, but also work relationships. One of the most important deciding factors in job satisfaction is the people you work with. So making sure that you work someplace where the values of that company or organization align with yours, that the people there are good people, the work culture is healthy, right? That you connect in some way, shape, or form to enough of the people there, that those relationships can be healthy and satisfying and meaningful. And investing in that, right? Not just going in and going through the motions at work and then leaving. We've seen that even the most successful, productive teams, Google found this in research they did, are the ones that know each other as human beings and care about each other as human beings. So those relationships at work matter a lot. So, that's probably number one in terms of creating meaning and purpose at home and at work, to prioritize relationships that they matter a lot. And then being committed to your own learning and growth. We either grow or we rot. There's no staying the same. So I'd say probably commit yourself to learning and growing, right? And that also can give you a great sense of purpose and meaning in your life. So make sure you're doing things personally and professionally, taking up new hobbies, taking lessons of some kind if you can afford it, making sure that at work, you're trying new jobs, you're signing up for courses, you're trying to find mentors who can help you learn and grow, right? Being an avid reader is a game changer for most people. Listening to podcasts, right? not just this one, but others too. Um, the learning and growing in the various aspects of your life, intellectually, you know, interest, hobby-wise, professionally, spiritually, really important. That's that's going to be an important part of creating a sense of purpose and meaning, and then making a difference in the lives of other people, making other people's lives easier. That mindset of service and altruism. For me, growing up, it was my mom, kind of brainwashing me with John F. Kennedy's inaugural address. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. The idea that service, that giving back, that leaving the place better than you found it, that citizenship comes with responsibilities as well as rights. That was an important part of my mental model for what a life of purpose and meaning, meant. And so that has defined me, and it has. It's worked. I've had 4 careers, each one being of service in some way, shape, or form. As a diplomat with the State Department, so actual service for the country. Being an activist, right, trying to help, stop a genocide. Being a teacher, obviously, and now being a life coach and having a podcast and being a meditation teacher. Like, these are things also where I'm trying to make a difference. I'm trying to ease people's suffering. I'm trying to empower people, help make their lives better and more meaningful and more successful, however they define that. And so it's been great. It's been a real gift that my mother in particular gave me. But we know from the research that's been done that's true for pretty much everybody, that being of service, helping ease other people's suffering is important in so many ways. So finding a way to do that, right? Volunteerism, participating in your community, right? Those are things that can give you purpose and meaning. They also help keep your own problems in perspective, right? So it helps you manage your own stress and anxiety and frustrations. And then finally, like, making sure that you build time into your schedule just for joy and creativity and self-expression, whatever that means for you, right? However you do that, whether it's, joining a softball league or writing poetry or taking up painting or playing the guitar or the piano, whatever it is, right? Find time in your life to just experience joy and creative energy and expressing yourself, spending time in nature, you name it. I mean, there are so many ways you could do that. And, you might be saying like, well, but I'm married, I have kids. Right. Don't you want your kids to be doing that too? Don't you want them to see you doing it so that they see that it has value and that it's important to set aside time for that? So I know it's difficult at times, it's challenging at times, but it is far from impossible. And it's about what really matters, what's important, and these things that really bring meaning and purpose to your life. It's important to invest your time in that. How much time do you waste, right? Scrolling on TikTok or watching TV mindlessly or whatever. Like, instead, take some of that time and do the things that, are going to enrich your life, right? Bring more meaning. So that's, for most people, those are the key things. And so there are a lot of options for you, personally, professionally, to prioritize your relationships and learning and, making a difference in the lives of other people and finding time for joy and creativity and self-expression. And then in terms of your work, what you do, if you don't have a clear passion or something that gives you a strong sense of purpose, because of the content of your work, there are other ways to kind of create this meaning and purpose. And, some of it is about, figuring out, well, what do you enjoy doing? Like, not necessarily that gives you a strong sense of purpose, but, you know, what do you enjoy working hard at? What are you good at doing? What are the skills that you've developed? What skills would you like to get better at? Because you can get better at almost anything, right? If you have a growth mindset, then with focused effort, you can get better at almost anything. So, what would you like to get better at? Like, seek jobs that are going to promote your growth, that are going to play to your talents, right? Your skills, that involve activities that you enjoy or don't mind putting a lot of effort into, right? Or if you're really lucky, that you're passionate about, right? That you really enjoy, that you think are fun. But again, for a lot of people, that may not be possible, at least some of the time. But you probably could find things that you're good at, that you enjoy doing, or don't mind putting in a lot of effort at, that will help you grow and stretch. And those can guide you in terms of the type of work that you do, right? And then go back to what I said before about, think also about the culture and the people, and make sure that's a good connection as well. So I think that's kind of the package, right, of how to create a life that has meaning and purpose, hopefully in a variety of areas, because it's probably not very likely that every aspect of your life is going to feel like it's really clicking at a high level in terms of meaning and purpose all the time. But if you can be constantly trying to create a good life of purpose in a variety of ways, odds are at least one of them will be providing some sense of meaning and purpose at any given moment, right? Not necessarily all the time, but probably more often than not. And that's great, right? That's probably better than most people right now. And I think, having conversations with people, asking people about their work, their relationships, their hobbies, right? How they spend their time. Other people will inspire you too. And then think about it. You're having more conversations about this kind of approach towards life. And again, some people are going to be cynical, defensive, right? Pessimistic. That's okay. But that doesn't mean you have to be, right? But you might actually inspire some of those people. And that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it actually be fantastic? Anyways, so those are just some thoughts. I mean, it's a first take at this. In my life, again, I've created my professional life kind of on the fly, right? It is a squirrely line. It wasn't a straight line to get from grad school to life coaching and meditation teacher. But there is that common thread of service, of helping others, of making a difference in the world that you can see through all the different careers. And so I tried to have that as my guidepost, along the way. Even when early on, most of my friends were chasing money, right, and prestige. And I resisted that. And it was not easy, right? There were times where I was like, am I crazy for this? Like, am I, going to end up poor and destitute? But I believed that if I did things that gave me a sense of purpose and meaning, and I enjoyed doing, then I would probably be good at them, right? I would work hard and learn and grow, and I'd probably get paid enough money, and I'd be happier. And sure enough, compared to a lot of people I know who chase the money, I have had a much happier, richer professional life, right? And certainly for me, it has had tremendous meaning and purpose, right, throughout. And then, I'm lucky. I'm a dad. I have tremendous friends and family, and they matter to me. So, someone, pointed out yesterday, boy, you seem to be really good at keeping in touch with people and maintaining relationships. Yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect. I know people who are much better at it than I am, but I do prioritize it. I try. I reach out to people. I try to reconnect with people. Probably every week I talk to at least a couple of former students, right? Maintaining those relationships. So I think it's important, and it gives me meaning and purpose, right? So that those relationships do. I've had along the way hobbies that brought me meaning and purpose. I was in the martial arts for 20 years. It gave me a sense of purpose intellectually, physically. It was great stress management. It connected me to other great people. So there was a sense of community and relationships that really mattered. I made a difference by teaching people self-defense and the martial arts. So that checked a lot of boxes for meaning and purpose. That was a great one. I can't do it anymore because I had a detached retina at one point, totally unrelated to the martial arts, and then cataract surgery as a result. And because of that, I can't risk getting hit in the eye. So I was told by the eye doctors, you can't do the martial arts anymore, which was devastating. Like, it was such an important part of my life. But, you have to move on, and you have to find other ways to create that sense of purpose. So, now what did I do? I moved up to Boston. I'm closer to family. That's great for my sense of purpose and meaning. But I was still feeling kind of isolated, working from home, lacking a sense of community in a way. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go out and volunteer. I'm going to find good people doing good work. So I volunteer at Rosie's Place, which is this fantastic organization in Boston that is a homeless shelter for women, and they provide a lot of other services, helping people find jobs, English as a second language, name it. So I volunteer there every week or two, and it is unbelievable, right? Such a great sense of purpose, helping people, connecting to people, relationships, getting to know the clients as well as the staff there. It's been fantastic. And then I can't do the martial arts, so I'm back doing in-person yoga. That has also been fantastic and stretching me, and I'm learning and growing, and again have a sense of community there that's developing. So, I'm adapting, and I'm finding different ways to make sure that in a variety of parts of my life, I have a sense of purpose. I try to be constantly learning, reading. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Again, how can I grow? How can I stretch myself? So I'm trying to do the things. I'm not just, on here saying, oh, do this, that, and the other thing, and you'll have a sense of purpose. I'm living it, right? Trying to practice mindfulness so I can live with more intention, right? Journaling every day, meditating, so that I'm trying to be more thoughtful, intentional about how I spend my time and what my priorities are. I'm not perfect. I spend too much time on my phone. I watch too much TV. But I try to take care of my body. I exercise. I go for walks. I'm on my Peloton. I go to yoga, learning, prioritizing my relationships. The work that I do gives me a sense of meaning and purpose, right? I'm trying to check as many of the boxes as I can. And you know what happens? Some days suck, but most days there's going to be something in my life that made it feel really worthwhile. So this can work, right? And if you need help imagining what this might look like, or how to navigate it, how to figure it out, how to create it yourself, let me know. A life coach could help. Being a part of an integrity circle where you're with 5 to 8 other people who are also committed to their personal and professional growth, and support each other and celebrate each other and brainstorm together and problem solve together. Like, one of those things could be a game changer for you. So, if you're interested in having a conversation about what might work for you, go to integrityandjoy.com and let me know, and we'll set up a time for a call. Right? I hope this is helpful. again, it's kind of a first cut at this in a little bit of depth, but we'll certainly be revisiting this. And with all of the episodes where I'm interviewing people about their stories, this is part of what I'm trying to help. You see that there are different ways that people try to create a sense of purpose and meaning, how they navigate their life's choices, and figure it out as they go, which is what we're all doing. So I really hope that those are the ones that are going to inspire you. But I hope this gives like a framework in a way, a little bit more depth about this idea of purpose and meaning. Anyways, thank you. Again, make sure you're following the podcast, rate and review. Please give us a 5-star rating, and make sure you're following us on social media. And please share this episode with somebody that you care about, somebody that you think might benefit from some thoughts, inspiration maybe about how to have more meaning and purpose in their life. And thank you again for spending part of your day with us, and I look forward to continuing the conversation, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening. If today's episode resonated with you, imagine what we could accomplish together in a one-to-one coaching session. Visit integrityandjoy.com to learn more and book your free consultation. Let's create the life you've been striving for.